Hello again, it's Noob, and today we get to finally look at the Majestic high-tech Wiggler pick set. Now, these are clearly a set of rakes. They are different sort of almost random waveforms, and supposedly they are computer calculated. Now, I don't know what that means. Whether they've taken the average bittings of various locks and taken into account maximum adjacent cuts and then run that through a computer and thought, what are the given the amount of peaks, what are the most likely number of configurations that you'll need to pick the most number of locks. I mean, I'd like to think it's something like that, but it might not be at all. It just might be a randomizer. I couldn't find any information out about how these picks were designed, but I have to say, whenever I saw these when I first started picking, I was really impressed. I desperately wanted a set. Fortunately for me, I've got a very good friend, Pickbeard from the UK Locksport forum. He does actually have a YouTube channel as well. I'll try to link to it. And he lent me his set. Now, I've got to have full disclosure here in that it's not a complete set. There's four things missing. So there's two little spring steel tension tools, just L tensions, L wrenches, and a little spring steel Y wrench. Now, clearly I wouldn't really review those anyway, so that's not a big loss. But the biggest loss is that one of these rakes is missing. And that does bring me to a point that one, I think I'll still be able to do a fair review based on what's left. You can be the judge of that, but I think I'll be fair with the review. But two, it does sort of show a point that when you've got a set of rakes which are designed for relatively tight keyways like this, they've got to be thin. If they're too thick, then you won't be able to have the range of movement in a lock, so you won't be able to have the ability to go, have the tip all the way up, for example, in the keyway, especially around the warding. You won't be able to have the tip down so far, so the good thing, in a way, is how slim the profile is. And let's just have a look at how thick these are at the thickest point. So they are about 1.39 millimeters. What's that in inches? About 54 thousandths, something like that. So they are very thin. Now, do I see that as a bad thing about these rakes? No, not really. I think that they have to be, to get the maximum range of movement for all the profiles, then clearly you need to have very thin shank heights. It's just a bit of a warning, I guess, that this is, I think, spring steel, and it's, you've got to be very gentle with it if you're going to use it as a wiggler. You're pushing up against all those springs by using very little tension, and make sure you don't get trapped in the warding or under pins and things. So yeah, it's not necessarily a design flaw, it's just a consideration if you're ever going to buy these, to be super careful. So what do you get, assuming that there were 8 of these? Well, there isn't just 8 rakes, it's 8 double-sided rakes, and each one of those sides can be flipped, so you actually get 32 different profiles. So this is 4 different profiles, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you get quite a lot, and I think these go for, at the moment, about £30 a set. I shall leave a link to where you can buy a set if you're interested. When I first saw these, I think I said earlier, and if I didn't, I'll say it again, I was just so super impressed by them. I just really want to get my hands on a set of these. They came in a nice little leather pouch, and they were computer generated, and when I first started picking, they just seemed a bit like magical keys in a way. I really wanted to have a set, and it was years until quite recently till I got to have a play with them. And you can see that I have had a play with them, because that black finish on a lot of these has come away. You can see some coloration from the brass pins that they've been used on, but at least you know that I have had a go at them. So, finish in general, they're not too bad. Genuinely, they're not too bad, the finish on these. It doesn't feel like saw blades, they're not overly rough. I think that's a really good point. The handles are very light. They don't look particularly neat with those little press rivets in there, but they're okay. One thing though is a bit weird is how bendy and soft, because they're aluminium on spring steel, they are just a little bit easy to deform. I actually had to press some of these down a little bit to get them to sit nicely on the bench, because they're just so easy to sort of bend. Wasn't something which I expected. Is that a big deal? Again, not really. I just wouldn't put this in your back pocket and sit down, because you're going to have to bend all your picks back. And given that the tips are very thin, you don't want to risk breaking them. Now, are they effective? Well, I guess theoretically yes. I'm going to cut away to me, I think, using this to open up a lock like this. In fact, it will be this lock with an average sort of bitting. It's not extreme, but it's not bad either. It's got some ups and downs, and it's really nice. Now, when I open it, you'll think, well, how did it open through wriggling? And it's because what you're trying to do is you're trying to match eventually the bitting to a profile like this. And I think somewhere like that, if I did an overlay, you can sort of make out that the peaks, or at least part of the top of the profile of this pick, aligns with where the pins would rest on the key naturally in the lock, essentially copying the bitting of the key and therefore getting an open. So I do think that theoretically that these picks can work in a range of locks. I definitely think that they are definitely have the potential to work in a range of locks. Now, you may or may not know, I actually have a side channel called Side Noob, and I've started to put some content on there. And I actually did an experiment by using these 7 profiles, or I think it was, is it 28? Yeah, 28 different profiles. I tried to go through all of them on one lock, which had an average bitting, just to see if I could get an open within about 10 minutes. And, well, go over there and check that out. But what I would say is that that given any lock, even if you know that one of these would work, working through in a full set 32 different sides potentially, then think about how long you'd need to spend on each one of those sides, wriggling, jiggling, oscillating the pick in the lock, trying to go for a tip down, tip up, all the way up flat, all the way down flat, rocking, raking, pulling in, pulling out. Even if you could get an open, and I think it's very plausible, you're going to be there for quite some time doing that. Now, do I think that they are more effective than SPP or hybrid picking? Truthfully, no, I don't think so. I think for beginners, you're likely to be more heavy-handed and prone to breaking these. I think for experienced pickers, you're much more likely to be more effective using a set of standard rakes and hooks to hybrid pick your way into a lock if you want speed, or SPP if you're into that, or raking if you're ultra skilled. I don't think that generally these offer a lot more value than standard tools. I think if they were a lot more robust, then I think they might be fun for beginners. Do I dislike them? Well, this is the problem. I still think they're kind of cool, and I just can't move past it. I want to say that they're not very effective, but theoretically they are able to get you into lots of locks if you're willing to spend the time. Does it matter that they're not necessarily the fastest way into a lock? Well, it depends what you want out of them. If you just want a bit of fun like me, then no, it doesn't matter one little bit. They're kind of cool, and I stand by that. I will defend that. I think that these are a cool set. Do I think that they're best made? Do I think that they're robust? Do I think they're suitable for beginners? No, absolutely not. But I'm really conflicted. I can't really tell you that they're particularly great, but I also can't let myself tell you that they're rubbish either, because I still kind of want a set. So yeah, I don't know if you ever felt like that with pick sets where you know that they're not particularly going to be effective, but you kind of want one anyway. Yeah, I think maybe we're all lock tool addicts. Anyway, that's me done. Please do go check out my side channel, Side Noob. I'll leave links. I'd really appreciate it if you like and comment and subscribe. It all helps. And that's my little review, if you like, of these Majestic rakes. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time.